working on the Mandalorian armor for Brandon. And I'm going to do a little something here that you sometimes do on a 3D print, but it's kind of a shortcut. If you got lots of little layer lines that are on this that I just want to take care of without having to cover the entire thing with Bondo glazing spot putty. So I'm going to make a Bondo slurry using acetone. So very simple process. You can just paint it on, let it dry, and sand from there. But it's a great way to just cover an entirely large piece in a lot less time. All right, and I just kind of do this and mix it by sight and feel. I'll just put some Bondo in there. A little acetone in there, and you want to mix it up. Brushes. All right, and you're literally just going to paint it on. This brush has seen its last day of doing this, so I need to get a new brush. I typically use the same brushes to do these because it basically ruins them. So let me find a new brush. One in here somewhere. Man, do I need to get new brushes. Get me some new brushes. This one will work. And you see how much quicker and easier that goes on. The acetone will just get it all into those little layer lines. Acetone can be your friend when you're a prop maker. I really only want to do this on two pieces. I'm going to do it on the helmet and this on the chest piece here. That's what we're working on. So this is a Bondo slurry that I've made using acetone and Bondo. So acetone mixed with Bondo, glazing spot putty, and then you make just a slurry that you can paint onto your props and do this whole thing a whole lot quicker. And if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing here, please let me know. These little build lives are Q&As, and I can't A unless you Q. What's up, Dexter? How you doing? X-Gamer, how's it going, man? So I am building me, this is actually not for me, I'm building my friend, Brandon, the armor for his custom Mandalorian. And he sent me the pieces and gave me kind of a, what's up, Ciro? Gave me a color thing. Hey, Ike, what's going on, man? How goes it? Let me just knock the piece down. Hand plate. Yeah, so I'm doing a Bondo slurry here by using acetone mixed with Bondo, just to get into a couple of these pieces that have a lot of little bitty layer lines, and I don't want to have to go through multiple layers of the Bondo and the filler primer and back and forth and back and forth. So you just paint this on really quickly. Yeah, it's hot as hell here. That's how it goes here, as it always is. I live in the asshole of America, and it gets hot in the summer. Yeah, man, I'll make you a helmet. I will absolutely make you a Mando helmet. Nowadays too, there are so many different, like, really cool designs out there for just the base helmet. But it's always fun making a Mandalorian. All right. You end up with something like that when you're done. I'll wait, let that dry, sand it all off. So let's do a couple of other pieces here. I want to get the helmet, mainly the face and the stripe gear for the helmet. Doesn't really matter if it runs either, because you're gonna come back and sand all this down. Lots of sanding. And this is just also a really easy way to get into those tight, hard to reach spots. You know, the seams of helmets and different places like that. And use this slurry to really get in there. Get in the cracks. Because you'll get layer lines in there, and you don't want layer lines. And there are 9,000 different ways to finish a prop, you know, from wood filler to Bondo to UV resin so, you know, don't take this as the end-all be-all way to do it, because there are literally 100 different ways that you can finish a prop. Super shiny dark blue marble. You could try that. But I'm talking about just the different helmet styles. You know, you can, different T-visors, I mean, there's so many different varieties now. Like this is, I think, a basic Den. I think this is a Denjarin, which is a very cool helmet. But yeah, they got so many different versions now. What's up? Forged by Light in the house. It's like old school. It's like an old school live. Now all we need is Darth Ravens. Shannon. Yeah, so I'm painting on Bondo. I created a Bondo slurry using acetone and Bondo. It's a great way to get the Bondo into those like really hard to reach spots on a helmet. And hopefully will save me several layers of doing the back and forth Bondo filler primer, you know. So that's the goal here. So I can get it all in these really hard to reach places on the visor. This will require a whole lot of sanding. That's the only problem about doing this kind of thing. Yeah, it gets into the seams, but then you got to sand all the seams. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Shannon. Seriously. I love building these things, you know. I took a turn from just lightsabers to, you know, building props and building stuff a couple of years ago. The channel kind of took off after that, and I've really found something that I enjoy doing. And I can build Star Wars stuff. Build the shit out of some Star Wars stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was telling my boy Ike, who's in the live right now, just all the different styles of helmets they have for Mandalorians now. I mean, it's nuts. You know, you can get a complete feminine, it looks feminine, you know, but I guess that's kind of Bo's with the night owl, those eyes that she's got. But there's so many different varieties. So many different varieties. Yeah, so just literally put the Bondo in with the acetone, and I'm mixing it up until it turns into a little thick liquid. And it really doesn't matter, you know, how thick it is. Doesn't matter if it runs all over the place either. What's up, Galaxy Toy Hunter? Yeah, there's so many options. So many options of Mandalorians. Yeah, this is going to be a custom set for a friend of mine, this guy named Brandon. It's in the 501st with me. He's in, lives over here across the bay, but he's in the Alabama one, the Alabama garrison. I'm in the Florida garrison, just for different odd reasons. But yeah, he wants a custom Mandalorian. So I'm going to do this. It's going to be a purple and gold color scheme. Just kind of like the Vikings. Yeah, I've used this gold on 2 other projects that I did, and it really does work well. So I'm going to do the purple, and then I think I'm going to do a graphite rub with it. I'm going to send some tests to Brandon so he can see it, but I think a graphite rub with that purple is going to make it kind of look like a metallic purple. Very cool. So I'm going to test it and see what it looks like, and hopefully it looks as cool as I think it does. And I'll do that. But here, let me show you some of the pieces that he's got. So pretty standard shoulder bells. Just standard little shoulder bells. We got thighs. The thighs are pretty badass. So the thighs are angled like that. I am your source for the Force. So I like the thighs. The shins, very cool little flared out. And then a couple gauntlets. Like so. And he's got a jetpack that's coming on hand plates. You need hand plates. Got a jetpack that's coming. Yeah, I think it would. I'm gonna test it. I've got a lightsaber stand over here that I've been meaning to, so a Mandalorian lightsaber stand that I'll probably give to Brandon as well, but I'm gonna test the paint out on this with the graphite just to see what it looks like, because I really think it'll look better. I think the regular purple is gonna kind of come off as toyish, but I think if I do that, it'll look pretty badass. And I've got some really good weathering plans as well, because you gotta weather it. You gotta weather it. is done. And just a couple more little parts on these shoulder bells. I got some layer lines up here in the tops. I know some in the bottoms though. Already got resin on those, or Bondo on those, but I want to do another layer of it. You can see you just come right through. Just paint it right on. That with just regular Bondo, that would take 5 minutes. And just paint it on like that. Very simple, very simple. Yes, Bondo glazing spot putty. That's kind of what it looks like. That's a rolled up tube of it. And then I just mixed it with acetone. Close. Yep. Acetone and Bondo. I also use acetone and that's how I make the glue that glues all of my Clone Trooper stuff together. I use acetone with the cut off pieces of ABS plastic, and that creates an ABS slurry that basically is the glue that I glue all of my Clone Trooper armor together with. Science! And it's like much stronger than a super glue because you're like chemically melding it to the plastic. It's very nice. Yeah, this stuff works wonders, and it will honestly take the time of having to finish props down to almost nothing. And then there's really hard to reach places. This stuff just paints right on. And it goes on in a thin layer too. It's not like a really thick layer, so it isn't hard to sand off when you gotta sand it. This one probably doesn't need it, but I got this extra Bondo, might as well. And this is the West Star Blaster, of course. All right, take these gloves off because it's fucking hot. Oh, so yeah, I do these. My shop is in my garage, and I live in like Alabama on the Gulf Coast, so it's hot as shit. So I can really only kind of work on this stuff for 20, 30 minutes at a time. Any questions about what we're doing here? So we've got a custom Mandalorian armor build. This is all 3D printed stuff sent to me from my friend Brandon. Eye pieces. Very cool. I'm gonna go with a very cool custom purple and gold color scheme. And I'll be painting all this. It'll probably be within a month. I'm taking my time on this because it's so hot here. Luke Skywalker. What is up, my man? Did somebody say lightsaber? I don't know. Did I say lightsaber? I might have said lightsaber. Speaking of lightsabers, Thursday I've got a new one coming. And it's a cannon hilt that I have never owned before, which is exciting for me. I won't say what it is yet. I want it to be a surprise. But yes, I do have a new lightsaber on the way. Actually, I know Ike knows what it is, but I'm not gonna. Don't spoil the surprise. Don't spoil the surprise, Ike. It's one that I'm surprised I don't have. All right, there we go. Okay, ladies and gents, so I'm a sweaty pig now. I'm going to take my leave of you. I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, give me a like. The algorithm likes that shit. Uh, as always, I'm Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source